Welcome to the Authentic Spiritual Journey, a weekly podcast featuring real and practical spiritual conversations from fresh perspectives here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. Today, episode 269, Look for the Good. And now your host, Reverend Cynthia Alice Anderson.
Hello and welcome to the Authentic Spiritual Journey. My name is Cynthia Alice Anderson. I am the host. I'm here today in 818 Studios with my producer.
Good morning, everybody. This is Dave Croft, and welcome to another episode of the Authentic Spiritual Journey. As always, we love being the first to welcome you to a brand new week. We wanted to be the Monday morning. You start off your week right, because, we had discussions about when do we want the episode to come out.
Yeah, exactly. When do we want this show to land? Yeah.
First thing in your ears, truth, support, encouragement at the top of the week. So welcome to a brand new week.
Oh, yes. Welcome to the week, friends. And, wherever you may be, I really got re-inspired about how we're reaching the world. And it's so much fun to imagine people all around the world and all around the country, certainly, listening to the show, enjoying it, and sharing it with friends. And what touches me is that a number of people have reached out since I mentioned and said, I'm in this city, I'm in that city. And that's pretty fun. And what my hope is, of course, that you not only listen, but that you share it with friends and family, and that it really makes a ripple effect, in your life and world. This is our hope for you.
And so with that in mind, we want to say hello to the people in Tomari, Okinawa. Hello, Tomari. It is so good. Thank you for joining us.
That's incredible.
My father was a Marine.
Oh, yes.
A career Marine, and did a couple of tours in Okinawa.
Wow. So you have a family connection.
Yeah. As tenuous as it, and militarily connected as it could be. But
what is the time there? Is it morning or is it evening?
I could tell you. I know that in Tokyo, it's 9, as we're recording, they are 13 hours ahead.
Right. So I was going to say Okinawa, which is Japan, I could say konbanwa, konbanwa.
So it's
for
really
watching
good.
and for listening, arigato gozaimasu.
Yes.
Arigato gozaimasu, dear friends. And that means the world to me and to us that you are listening. And I'm sure now you're laughing at my Japanese, but thank you.
Hey,
Many years ago, I decided to learn a little, and it's been really fun to have some Japanese friends. I worked in retail then, and I had clients that were coming in that were from different countries. That's people from Korea and people from Japan. And it just so happened that I had an employee, a young man, a guitarist, who worked for me, who was Japanese, and his mom taught Japanese. And so she made me a tape. Anybody remember cassette tapes?
Oh, yeah.
And so she made me a tape, and I would listen to it all the way home, all the way to work. And I learned a lot of phrases. Like my favorite phrase is "chotto matte kudasai," which I believe means "wait just a moment, please."
Hold up.
Yeah, just hold up. Anyway, friends, Okinawan friends, thank you so much. Bless you on your journey. Yeah,
it's so good to have you with us.
This is fun. So happy Monday evening if you're in Japan.
That's right.
And it's funny, too, because later today I'm talking with a friend in South Africa. We always have to triple check the time because it's 6 hours different. And she's been on our show, as a matter of fact, Vicenta.
Yeah.
And yeah. So dear soul, we're going to connect again today, but we always have to triple check the time.
Yeah, I had to, and I can't remember if we've talked about this, but I do masterminds and teach folks from all over the world for music, and I had to install a little app to keep track of the time zones.
Right.
Because I have students in LA, Denver, Memphis, London, Frankfurt, Mumbai, Tokyo, Melbourne, Australia. Like that's about as far around the world as you can get without getting into the middle of the ocean.
It is. You got to tell me about that app offline so that I can get that. And it's so interesting that we have been reconnecting with our listeners around the world, because this is a time of reconnection for me. I'm deepening my connection with God. I'm deepening my connection with my family of origin, my little small family here in Orlando. And it's really appropriate for our topic today. So, Dave, give us that show title, if you will.
It is called Look for the Good. Look for the good.
Yeah. Look for the good. Yeah.
That's right.
Well, I wanted to do this topic for a long time. And it was funny because I was a little judgy of myself about doing it. And I'll tell you the thought. I'll just invite you into my process. Every time I thought about it, I said, is it deep enough? And here is the thing about this idea of looking for the good is it has sustained me my entire life. So having said that, I'd say is very deep. I think that it sounds so simple, kind of sounds like a bumper sticker, like one day at a time, look for the good, easy does it, make it happen, shift happens.
Right.
So I didn't want to come off sounding like a bumper sticker, but looking for the good is a kind of spiritual discipline, really, because everything in our world looks for the bad. Everything in our world looks for the bad. Advertisers tell you what's wrong with you and why you need their product, for instance. I've talked about this many times. And friends, I keep bringing it up because it seems like that never ends. I think as we age, we start to self-judge in a different way. Like maybe we have wrinkles, maybe we have gray hair, and the magazines say if we nip this and tuck that and color this, we can be okay. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing whatever it is you want to do. My point is, I don't want us to color our hair simply because we feel bad about a normal aging process. Do it because you want to, because you love the new color, not because there's shame about who you are and somebody's made you feel bad about that, right? But so that's an aspect of our culture where it seems simple and you go, yeah, it's advertising. But we are bombarded with these ideas that how we are, who we are, as we are, is not okay. And so at times, just in that one regard, looking for the good, in other words, what is working? What do I love about myself? Will completely shift how you're walking through the world. But if you're only seeing the negative, if you're only seeing what's wrong, it takes you down this negative spiral and frankly can lead even to depression. Just this one issue of, we'll call it body image, right? Just this one issue where our world says this is wrong. And so what I'm saying is I want to turn that around. And I love in the Bible how Jesus was always saying the opposite of what people wanted him to say or what society was saying. And this is what I'm trying to do with this idea. Not look for the bad, look for the good. Look for the good. And maybe if it's kind of bumper sticker-ish, it'll help us remember to do it. Yeah. I'm looking for the good in my title. Look for the good. So I talked about one aspect in advertising. What's another one? Well, you have to have this car. You have to have this home. That's still advertising, but it's a different aspect of our life that we tend to judge. That we compare ourselves to our neighbors. We compare ourselves to our family members and say, well, I don't have this and I don't have that. And the interesting thing is, I've learned that part of why we look for the negative is the brain, frankly, is wired this way. Now, there's going to be somebody out there that says, no, we're all good, all God, all love. Well, we are, but part of what has kept us alive for centuries is this aspect of the brain that looks for problems or looks for issues. And as a society, we've used that tendency to be sold to. As a matter of fact, I've had to discontinue working with certain marketing firms that I had hired because they only wanted me to appeal to the negative in people. And I said, well, can't I use these same ideas in appealing to the positive? And they said, well, you'll probably get less followers. I said, I'm okay with that. I really don't want to appeal to somebody's worst idea of themselves. I said, but it is true that I believe that, as we live a spiritual life, life gets better. That I can say. But I don't want to say that life sucks now, that you're awful and you need me. I see that a lot from spiritual teachers around the country. And I have just tried my absolute best not to do that, but that we want to attract people through like positivity, through like goals, through a resonance in our mindset, through a resonance in how we want to live. And so that's what I try to appeal to, is the positive. So think about that. How in your life right now are you looking for the good? We can start with body image. How are we looking for the good? Or are you looking in the mirror every day and saying what's wrong? I can tell you, friend, if you start your day out that way, that's a rough start to the day. Because the rest of your day is now going to have that negativity basically in every aspect of it. It's like it goes through like this, it's like a thread, it's like a thread that runs through your day. And it's this unconscious negativity that runs through everything. Because when you don't love yourself just as you are, when you don't feel good about your body, it's fine to judge everybody else too. And then you start judging everybody else. And what I'm saying is start looking for the good. And if you can't look for the good in yourself first, look for it outside of you. And it's amazing the way the soul works, because, somebody said to me one time, are you supposed to feel it first or do it first? And I said, yes. I said, wherever you start, it works. It works. And so in my life, what I've loved to do is look for the good. It's like if something happens that is unexpected, for instance, if something happens in my life, a job change or finances go down unexpectedly, or, there's something happening at my work or my church that's not going how I think it should go. I say, rather than cursing it, rather than saying, I'm sick of this, I'm saying, what good is going to come forward for this for me? And why is it showing up right now? Like, of all the things that could be happening, why is this happening now in my journey? And why am I seeing this same issue a couple different places? Because I think there's some kind of spiritual lesson the universe is trying to bring me, and I am unaware of it. I'm unaware of what the lesson is. So in other words, even in the midst of something that at first is seemingly negative, I'm still looking for the good. And what that does is it kind of catapults me forward into living this different kind of spiritual awareness and positivity, resting in the fact that the universe is always working on my behalf. You've heard me say this many times. And I have to come back to it on the show. I come back to it in my ministry. I have to come back to it in my life. I come back to it in my parenting, helping my son say, why is this happening at this time? And what is here for me? And what am I learning from this? Because if this is happening, it's happening for the universe to bring me my good. So let me figure out how to look for the good in this situation. And sometimes it's very, very difficult. And as I'm saying this, I'm sure somebody's saying, well, not everything is good. Well, I absolutely agree. Not everything feels good. I absolutely agree. But that's where the spiritual discernment, the understanding, and the wisdom comes in. Because if you look, I have this friend who's a minister, and she was so positive, and she would always say, nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. And she would say it and laugh, kind of walk off. And I was like, that's true. And then one day she was having a really tough day. And she comes up to me and her teeth are kind of together. Like, how when you're mad, Dave, and you're like, ah.
Yeah.
And she's literally trying to say, nothing can disturb the calm peace of my soul. And I started laughing. I said, hon, I think you got to try again. I said, because I think something is disturbing the calm peace of your soul. And if you don't look at it, you're going to break your jaw. So there's positivity and then there's denial.
Right.
You know? So,
Yep.
so in looking for the good, it's a balance. It doesn't mean we're denying what's happening. And I've learned recently, and part of the pattern of my family of origin, I love them to death. They're great people. They, help a lot of folks in the world, but we do, as a whole family, have a real healthy sense of denial. We can deny what's going on for a really long time. And in my life, I've chosen to like tell the truth, to move out of that, to heal. But I've learned a benefit of looking for the good, and that is not seeing everything as an attack, not seeing everything as negative, not viewing my body, my life, my financial status as negative because it doesn't measure up. That I'm measuring myself with a different kind of measure. And the measure is not outer. It's not what a magazine or newspaper would say is this or that, but I measure it by my happiness. I measure it by my sense of peace. I measure it by my growth. You see, all these are really different things than what the news or the media talks about. What the news and the media is going to tell you is what to be mad about, what to rage about, and how much separation there is, which of course, in turn, creates more separation. I saw, Dave, I can't remember. I know you are on Instagram, and I saw this thing on Instagram recently, and it was like, oh, the news says everyone is racist. And then it showed these, I don't know, 4 or 5 people, white and black, dancing and grooving together. And they go, but this is what's really happening. So yes, there are issues of racism, friends. There are. And yet, what is the predominant? What is the predominant? There are people connecting every single day that are different races. So that's the good we want to look for. Don't believe everything you hear about how bad things are. Look for the good. The thing I love to do too when I look for the good is to call it out. And I've always done that in my ministry. I've always done that with my clients. I've done it with my son in my parenting. And as parents, it's so tempting, right? To say everything that's wrong with what your kid is doing. Don't do this, don't do that. Don't do this, don't do that. Be quiet, go in your room, Instead of looking for, wow, if they're talking a lot, I wonder, there must be something on their minds.
Right.
Right.
They must have something to say.
Or if they're going in their room a lot, maybe there's something they're in process about, and I'm going to give them space and then say later, so tell me how you're doing. It's so simple. And so when you're looking for the good rather than looking good, when you're looking for the good in life situations, in your body image, in your financial life, in your home, in your parenting, guess what? All of a sudden, life feels better because you're approaching life from a positive mental attitude. Or as I used to say when I was in my teens, PMA, baby, positive mental attitude. I'd read this book. I don't know if it's still around, Dave. I would love for you to look it up. It was written by a Delta flight attendant. It was called Your Attitude Determines Your Altitude. It was the first book I ever read. I was 16 years old. It was the first book I ever read about how your mental state, and it's what I would call your intention about life, changes how you experience what is happening. Is it still a thing?
Oh yeah, by Yves Carinard, I think. Yeah.
Right. Okay, well, we should put that in the show notes.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
probably ought to order it and reread it because after I read that, I was going around like a little evangelist. PMA, man, positive mental attitude. It's hilarious.
Yeah, we'll have a link to that in the show notes for sure.
Well, what she was talking about in the book, I remember one of the stories that she always could not stand when somebody asked her for iced tea because she had to go make it. And it was like one of the little things in life that just got on her nerves. And when she decided it was a way to be of service to the passenger, she enjoyed it. It was like this tiny shift in her mindset changed everything. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Yeah, absolutely loved it. So look for the good. Look for the good. What I've noticed is looking for the good is a great connector of people. It's a great connector of people. One time I was at a Starbucks. This is several years ago. I know, you're shocked. A coffee shop. A coffee shop. Although, as I'm saying Starbucks, I'm embarrassed because we were just at Lineage this weekend.
Yeah, I know.
And they sponsored the show. Well, that was pre-Lineage. Okay. Now I'm total Lineage devotee, right? For Lineage coffee roasting. But anyway, I walked into I'm making a point here.
Yeah.
I'm making a point here looking for the good. I walked into a unnamed coffee shop. And it was funny because in the parking lot, I had seen this car, and it was this kind of souped up Charger. And it had an Atlanta plate, and not only our Georgia plate, but not only Georgia, it was the county I grew up in. And, I grew up in a black neighborhood, and nearly, 90% black probably neighborhood. And as I walked in, I saw this guy sitting there, and I said, "Are you from Georgia?" And he goes, "Yes, ma'am." And I said, "Cool car." He goes, "Right on, bring it in." I got the bro hug right away. And it turns out he was living down here in law school. And so then I used to talk to him nearly every day when I went to get my coffee, and we became friends. His whole group knew me, his whole law school group. And all I had done was make a connection based on his license plate and his car. It's crazy. It was crazy. I got so honored to be brought into his group and to the guys. All the guys were studying law. Really, really smart guys, really sweet. And I was just so happy to make a connection from somebody that grew up where I did. He goes, "Oh, yeah, I know where you grew up." I said, "That big church on the corner of Orchard Drive where the big Jesus stained glass is?" He goes, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "Well, that was my church. I grew up right down the street in Red Oak." He goes, "Oh, yeah." So it was one tiny little thing, and it made a connection. It lasted till he moved back. He's moving back to start a practice. Looking for the good is a great connector of people. Looking for the good, frankly, it just feels good because you are calling out the blessing that's around you, and it helps you see more blessing. It starts to make you resonant with the creative energy of the universe. Here's what I mean. Many, many years ago, I heard Reverend Michael Beckwith say that, people worry about a negative thought. And, the truth is a negative thought, it doesn't have any power, really, unless you repeat it over and over and over. But positive thoughts are 1,000 times more effective because they align you with the creation, the creative energy of the universe, what I just said. And I never forgot that. And I thought that is true. And I'm going to practice. When I first heard him say it was probably 20 years ago, I'm going to start practicing calling out the good and see what happens. So it's just like this small little spiritual practice that I didn't tell anybody about. I didn't preach about it. I didn't tell my friends and family. I just started practicing it, right? In that way. Because like I say, as a kid, I was always learning to look for the good because, my mom would always say, honey, when you're looking at something, you have a choice. You can look on the bright side or you can be miserable. That was basically her philosophy. my mom who was caring for her mother and my dad. And, she had to look on the bright side. She had a lot going on and a lot she was managing. I think if she would have felt sorry for herself or let the weight of the responsibility, I don't think she could have done it. And I think lastly, that's what I would say is looking for the good brings you a great deal of strength. Looking for the good brings you a great deal of strength. And so you being able to choose this is also a move of strength for your life, for your emotional life, and for your spiritual life. Because as a culture now, everybody's playing the victim card. And I do not believe you are a victim. I believe that your world, your experience is based on your life, the energy you put out, and the intentions that you hold. So if you start looking for the good, you're going to realize you feel better, yes, about your body. If you look at it in the mirror in the morning and you don't like what you see, find something you like. Bless it. Bless it. Look for the good. And then, the parts you don't like, you say, well, I can work on those. But not, oh, that's bad and oh, that's terrible and look at this. Okay? Yeah. It's just it's a completely different mindset. It's like almost a new value system that I'm saying. I wish we were all computer programs and I could give you this little card that said on there, look for the good, and you could just plug it in. And all of a sudden you started going, oh my gosh, there is good everywhere. But we get so beaten down, we forget to see it. Right? So that's why I want to lift it up. Look for the good. And again, I want to mention, we don't want to be in denial either. We don't want to look, for the good. We don't want to, rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic and say, isn't this pretty? And things be going down, around us. But looking for the good can help bring us up and out of sadness, of depression, even dealing with physical illness. Look for the good. Look for what is working. And it sounds like, oh, is this a game? Is this semantics? No, friends, it's very, very real. Body image, I started there just because it's a big one, but we do it with our financial life. We look at what's not there. I'm saying, look at what is there and bless that. Right? In your job, look at what is there and bless that. Yeah, and remember that it will bring you, yes, positive energy. It will bring you new states of awareness in your emotional life, in your spiritual life. And yes, it will also bring you strength. And it will bring you strength because you are choosing which lens you're going to look through as you walk through the world. My hope is if you're already listening to our show, you are a person already who looks for the good. I'm just trying to make it a little more conscious for all of us as we move forward. Like, let's look for the good together and see what we can create. When you're looking for the good, you are a person of goals. You are a person of means. You are a person of possibility. And remember, if you have a tough day and you have some negative thoughts, don't beat yourself up for that. Say, okay, well, I'm releasing that. How can I find this spiritual lesson? How can I look for the good in this? And then how can I use this to move forward? And that's our goal. And that's what we're here to do. Yeah, that's what we're here to do. So friends, this is my hope for you as you go throughout your day. I would love to hear stories about how you apply this. Always, we welcome an email to hear from you. If you work in an office, try lifting up the people around you. If you're a parent, try lifting up your kiddos. If you're a spouse, try lifting up your spouse. Look for the good and be real about it. Don't be, not flattery. Really look for the good. Be real. Be authentic in how you practice this one. And then we hope to hear from you about it. Tell us how you feel. Tell us if it shifts relationships. Tell us if you feel this new strength that you're going to have by looking for the good. So this is our hope for you. And as always, dear friend, we are honored. We are blessed to have you along the journey with us. And so grateful for everybody who joined us this past weekend at Lineage Coffee for the live recording of show 275. So blessings on the journey, dear friend, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Authentic Spiritual Journey here on the Experience of the Soul podcast channel. This channel is made possible because of listeners just like you. If you would like to support the channel with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Authentic Spiritual Journey is copyright 2023, Cynthia Alice Anderson, all rights reserved. Our theme music is composed by Dave Croft and used with permission from RR Hot Publishing. The Experience of the Soul podcast channel is a production of 818 Studios.
Hey friends, Sean here, your Experience of the Soul producer. I want to take a moment to tell you about something truly exciting. The Soulworks online community, created by your host, Cynthia Alice Anderson, and available on the Mighty Networks app. If you're looking for a place where you can explore your spiritual path, connect with others, and grow in a meaningful way, then this is for you. Soulworks is so much more than an online community. It's a safe, inclusive space for spiritual exploration, self-discovery, and personal transformation. Inside the community, you'll find everything from uplifting spiritual studies to soul-centered growth practices, meditations, affirmations, and so much more. It's a space where you'll always be supported and never judged. The best part, membership is free. You'll have access to powerful resources, inspiring content, and a supportive group of like-minded people who are all on their own unique spiritual journeys. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there are premium options available to enhance your experience with a live Monday night talk series and extended, deeper meditations. If you're seeking a place to connect, grow, and nurture your soul, we would love to have you join us in the Soulworks community and see where this journey can take you. Visit my.soulworkscommunity.com today.